Big cops of it.
Yeah. We've heard so much about this place because Mr. Cannon is kind of famous or infamous all around the South.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, see, the old man Jim Cannon, Charlie Daddy, the one started the Cannon Mill. And so when he died, I believe his son Joe took over. And then when Joe died, Mr. Charlie took over. You see, it's pretty well been dominated by the Cannons, the city, and the mills too. But now, there was the old Brown Mill over there. That was owned by the Johnson Company. What they call the old Lock Mill down here, now it's apartments all in it. That was owned by the Odells back years ago. And so, about all these mills was Cannon Mills, you see, here in Concord. But now they've all shut down, just about all of them shut down now, and all of it's in Kannapolis. All the textiles in Kannapolis. Yeah. But the Cannons is still got a. They've done a lot for people in a way, like helping to build a hospital and giving grants to certain things and like that. But I've always been like this. Grants is good, but I think they ought to give it to the people, some of it to the people that made it for them.
Right.
Yeah. Now that's good to give a hospital maybe 100,000 or so many thousand. But I've always said, why come they can't take and give some of their old retired help that help them to make all that money? Give them a little something. The name won't be spread abroad as much. Now, when I was pastoring the church, we had I don't know how many hundred members, but I got my deacon together one year because we had money enough to do it. I said, let's give all of our old senior citizens $200. Some of them like to choke to death for Christmas, you know, at Christmas. Oh, there ain't no way preacher wouldn't do that. Well, I come on down to $100. I said, and some of them still like to choke to death. I said, well, I know we can give them $50 anyway. So we give every senior citizen in our church a $50 check for Christmas, you see. And that thrilled them old people to death. See, like a man and his wife had $100 for them if they're senior citizens. And that thrilled them to death. Some come to me the next year and said, preacher, they're going to give us $50. I said, no, I don't get they will. But I feel like that about the men where they've made a lot of money. They ought to share it with the ones that helped them to make it. And I feel like that the Cannon, instead of giving all these grants to these different people, they ought to give it to some of these old retirees that got that not able to work.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to tell you something, and you know this, and you'll know it a little later on if you live long. When you get old, you're just about forgotten. You know that?
Well, that hadn't happened to me yet.
These old friends of yours,
Yeah.
when most of your old friends die off,
Yeah, that's right.
and a new bunch comes along.
Well, I'm very lucky because, you see, I still teach at the university.
Yeah.
So I have young
Where do you teach at? What
at
university?
New York University.
New York University.
And I'm very lucky because I have younger people coming on, like
Yeah.
Judy here.
Well, you see, all of the young ones that's coming on when I was pastoring the church, they've done grown up now, and I don't know them. See what I mean? I don't even know them. And I meet people, they'll come up to me, hello, Preacher Miller. I say, hello, how are you? Oh, fine. They'll stop and go to talking in a minute. I'll say, now, by the way, I know your face, but I can't get your name. They'll tell me their name.
It happens
Yeah.
all the time. It happens all the time.
Yeah,
And you probably baptized them.
yeah. No doubt I did. Some of them I did.
Well, I have the same
Yeah.
thing. They've been in my classes.
And you're a professor up at New York University. Well, that's wonderful. What do you teach?
I teach filmmaking.
Well, you can look at that old Baptist preacher on there and say, boy, he's a nut.
Now you were turning from addressing
Mm-hmm.
the Reverend, and I think you asked her what did she remember about life in the Cotton Mill.
How was it in your village?
Well, I never did live on a mill village. My father died in 29, and I was born in 27, and my mother raised 3 children. But we never did live. My mother didn't work in the cotton mill. She nursed, and she didn't. We never did live on a cotton mill.
Mhm.
But my uncle that I was telling you about, they lived on a cotton mill hill, and we went to their house a lot.
Could you tell me why it's always a cotton mill hill? People live on the hill,
Well,
even if it's flat.
I don't know, but
Even
see,
if
they
it's
used
flat.
to call us when I was a little
saying.
boy.
Just to say
They'd
it.
call us lint dodgers, lint heads, and things like that. You see, and we moved out in the country when I was a little old boy. My dad bought a 103-acre farm out in the country. An old log house, kitchen set off from the house, set from the. Had to walk across, you know. Didn't have windows in it. Had in the kitchen had a shutter, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
chain on it, and great big old open fireplace. Somebody had tried to wallpaper it with newspapers and took flour and water, you know, and stuck newspapers on the wall. Now this when I was a boy, you know, back when I was a boy, and yeah,
I've
we
seen
moved,
that in Yankton County.
yeah, we moved out there on that old farm. And you talk about a time. We had a time out there on that farm, but we had a happy life out there.
Yeah.
But back then, see, these younger ones don't know what they are.
Yeah.
You remember when the old houses had all these chinches in them and all,
Yeah.
about to eat you up.
Yeah.
Call them bed bugs now, you know. Don't have any more of them with all this.
And you had a well that you had to.
Oh yeah,
up the
yeah.
water.
Well, we didn't have a well out there. We had a spring. It'd been blocked up with big old stones, you know, and we'd get our water out of a spring. But I'm gonna tell you a good one about a Baptist preacher. This old Baptist preacher told me this. Said he's up in the mountain preaching, and he talked kind of through his nose. And Brother Frank said I was up in the mountain preaching, and said, "Oh, we had a wonderful, wonderful revival." Said I had 70 souls saved. Said I had one great big old fat woman. She's a big one, and she wouldn't unite with the church because she's afraid of the water, you know. See, us Baptists believes in the mercy. And he said, finally I talked her into going ahead, uniting with the church and let me baptize her. Said, oh, that Sunday evening, said the people lined the riverbank, said they would line up and the choir was up there. And said, I decided I'd take that old fat woman first, big old fat woman first. Said I had one of my deacon to come leading her out to me, you know, and said he brought her out there and she's shaking like a mule in a hailstorm, you know. Said I looked up at my choir leader and said, brother, would you lead us in a song appropriate for this occasion? Said, you know that rascal Brother Frank cut loose singing, you're drifting too far from the shore. See, I can tell you a whole lot now. People looking at that thing laughing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you're drifting too far from the shore.
You forget the dead?
Yeah, we.
What was it that that Reverend Miller was saying to you before? He was
Oh,
talking
yeah.
straight to you, and Jamie was behind
Oh,
you.
what are all the different names they have for
Oh yes,
cotton mill workers?
cotton mill workers.
Lynn Head, Lynn Dodgers, and what else was it? You remember some of them?
That's all I remember.
Yeah, Lynn Head and Lynn Dodgers. I know. They'd call that little old boy Lynn Head and Lynn Dodgers. We moved out in the country, you know, went out there, and none of the country folks worked in town. And we moved out there, and we had Lynn Heads, you know.
How'd you
Lynn
feel
Dodgers.
about that?
Huh?
How'd you feel about that?
Oh, that didn't bother me because I got used to it. That kid got used to it. Called us Lynn Head and Lynn Dodgers.
Did it bother you the first time somebody called you Linhead?
No, that didn't bother me because that's about what they call it a lot of.
Well, we've heard a lot about the conflict between the people in the cotton mill and the people on the farms.
Well, when I was a little boy, we moved out in the country. Didn't nobody hardly work in the cotton mill. I don't know anyone. My dad and mother did start coming back working in the mill some. This man they rode with, he worked in town. And it wasn't too long the others began to come. Others began to come into the city and work in the mill. Then now, my goodness, half of the mill's made up of country folk. You know, live in the country.
Now, when you worked in the country, were you growing cotton?
Yeah, we growed cotton. That was our main living, you know, growing cotton. Which we raised corn, and my dad had big gardens, you know, and like he'd plant sweet potatoes and peanuts and things. But our main source was cotton.
Do you remember when the boll weevil came along?
Oh Lord, the boll weevil, yes sir. Them things might near kill some people. I mean, you know, with their crops. But when we moved out there were gullies on that old farm that you could might near set this house in. And when we moved from out there, they were planting cotton over the top of them gullies. I mean, young people today don't know what work is. Now, when I wasn't going to school as a boy, and we didn't have a bus come by pick us up, we walked to school. And I believe it was a 3-room wooden building where I went to school in. And carry our lunch in a half-a-gallon bucket. And we eat a lot of rabbits. See, me and my brother had 20 rabbit boxes. We get 3 or 4 rabbits about every morning. Man, take me one of them rabbit legs out and a biscuit of butter and jelly, you know, on it. Eat that rabbit leg, butter and jelly. That was good eating. Well, the other children, too, we'd take a half-a-gallon lard bucket, you know, and take a nail and knock holes in the lid so it wouldn't sweat. But children, they don't know what work is. Now, when I was a boy, I had to get up when I wasn't at school. When my daddy and them got up to go to work out in the field, I had to go, too. I had to carry the fertilizer and the cotton seed to feed the cotton, the thing you planted cotton with, say. I could pour the cotton seed in there and carry fertilizer, pour a bucket of fertilizer in the planter. And whenever we get caught up with things like that, cut down a tree, cutting our wood for wintertime, always something to do. Raining, cleaning the harness and the gears and all that stuff. I mean, things for the old mules and all. Cleaning out your stables and things like that. Always something to do.
Do you think that life in the cotton mill was easier than it was on the farm?
Well, back then I was just a boy. To me it would have been. But oh, how I did love to wake up in the morning, had an old tin roof on that house and hear it raining, you know. Man, I won't have to get out in the cotton patch today, the whole cotton. Yeah, I won't have to whole cotton.
Well, you didn't have to go into the cotton mill as a child, the way a
Oh,
lot of people
no,
did.
but my sister, now she said she went in the mill at 9 years old. Yeah, she slipped over, went down to the mill and got her a job. But now they tell me, I don't know, they never done it to me. I had some fellas that worked in the mill with me that was older than I was. Said the overseers used to come chase you down and said they'd slip out and maybe try to go rabbit hunting. The overseers would go and hunt them and find them and whip them. Say, hey, overseers would whip them back then. Whip the children. But I never had that to happen to me. But they said they used to do that, though. They'd spank a child.
Well, they got rid of that child labor with the NRA, with
Yeah.
the Blue Eagle.
Uh-huh. Yeah, when I went to work, I had to be 16 years old before I could go to work. When I went to work in the mill.
Now, you went a good bit further in school than a lot of people we talk with.
Mm-hmm.
Was that was your father's influence, I imagine?
Yes, and another thing, I wasn't no smart feller, but I didn't go through the 7th grade. They had the city or the supervisor over all the schools wanted to start a high school, or that Hartsel School they called it. And they came over and gave us a test, you know, the quiz test like. And me and another girl passed it. I was one that passed it and helped to start the high school over at the Hartsel High School. I got to skip the 7th grade and go to the 8th. And that's a big mistake in my life. because the 7th grade was one of the main grade to go through. But I went to the 8th grade without going through the 7th, then went on to the 9th, then to the 10th, and I had a good superintendent. He come over the house and talked to me. He'd go around and talk to the pupils, try to get them not to quit school, to come on and go to school, tell us what education meant to us. But young people, we couldn't see all of that back then. Like a lot of them today, they don't see it. Now I look back on them days, I see it. See, I had a son now, he graduated the University of North Carolina in political science, something that he wished now he never took it. He knows his history and all about foreign affairs, but he told me, he said he wished he'd went ahead and took some other type of course, you know. And she got a grandboy. Now he's going over here at the University of North Carolina, and he studied business management, ain't it, Helen?
Administration.
Business administration, and then he's going to go ahead and
Get a CPA degree.
yeah.
This is at Chapel Hill, is it?
No,
Yeah,
Charlotte.
University right over here.
University of
University,
Raleigh, yeah.
Chapel Hill over here.
Mr.
Yeah.
Reverend Miller was saying that, what was it? Oh, about cannons, their names being all over, they're giving grants to everybody,
Mhm.
but they don't give it to the people that make it, and I thought maybe he could talk a little bit about that again.
Well, I just feel like it's good to give the hospital and these different places money, but I feel like they should take some of the money that they're giving away and give to the people that help to make it for them. But most of their old people now that help to make it for them, they've died off. Yeah, they still got a few of them living, but I feel like if I had a company, my own self, and people made money for me, and I become a wealthy man like the Cannon, I would see that the people that work for me was well taken care of. I believe I'd give them a little bit of it back. In fact, that I don't believe they'd have to fight to try to get a union in. Because I take care of them so good they wouldn't have to do it. It'd be hard for a union to get in if I had the money Cannon's had, you know, because I'd be so good to my people. See that they didn't want for anything. But I'll tell you now, the mill that I worked in, now they were good to us in a way. If any of my children had to go at the hospital, or any of us go at the hospital, all we had to do is tell them to charge it to the Brown Mill, see. And the company would take so much out of our paycheck every payday, you see, till they got that hospital bill paid off. Now they were good to us in that line. Some things they were pretty good about.
But they fought the Union.
Oh yeah. But now the Brown Mill, like I said, was owned by the Johnsons in Charlotte. They wasn't as bad as the Cannon mills were, see. Not even to their help. See, as long as you run your job at the Brown Mill, the old Brown Mill, as long as you run your job, okay. They didn't have somebody around your neck all the time watching you and telling you just everything you had to do and didn't have to do. As long as you run your job, they was pretty well, you was pretty well secure with them. And but the Cannon Mill now was a lot different from the Brown Mill, because it was a Cannon Mill owned. Brown Mill was different. People in Charlotte owned it, and they wasn't as strict on us at the Brown Mill as it was in the Cannon Mill. And I enjoyed it over there. I did the last years, I really enjoyed it. In fact, if they had some of the old looms in the mill over there like I used to fix on now, I'd go back and work a couple of days just see if I could tear one down, throw it in the floor and build it back and put it back together. I would.
Well, you know, one of the things we're trying to do is to help to complete history. And these, you've been over to the Cannon Museum. They got the history of the Cannon family and the history of the factory. and the way the cloth is made,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing about the workmen, nothing about the people who worked in the plant. We're trying to fill that in.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we hope to see them do is to add working machinery, just like what you're talking about, so that
Yeah.
people like you could go into those museums and see that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've often wondered myself. See, the first mill that the old man Jim Cannon built down here in town, they tore it down. I said it seemed to me like they would have left that mill and made a museum out of that mill, you know. But instead of that, they tore it down. And I said it looked like they'd left that old first mill he had built, you know, and put a museum in it.
Well, what they've done, what they're planning to do now, I think, with the old Luray mill in Gastonia,
Uh-huh.
they're talking about making that a museum. It's pretty big.
Uh-huh. Well, they ain't gonna show you too much about the labor force back then when the county had this thing. They ain't gonna show you too much or tell you too much about that. You're getting more of it right now from people like me than and I dare say they wouldn't let you put this up in the museum. Put it in the museum. Because they don't want people to know how that the cotton mill people were treated back then. Oh, they say they treat them good. They give them a home to live in and so forth and so on. But
Could you say that again?
You just got a truck over your voice.
Yeah.
do what?
Could you start with they don't want you to know about this and
Oh,
go
I
on?
said they don't care about the people knowing about how the cannon treated the workers back in those days. Huh. And I dare say whether they'll let you put that in their museum or not, of what people say about, are saying about the way they. Some people said, "Oh, we get along pretty good. We got along pretty good," but most everybody had it rough. It worked in the cotton mill. Now there was some. I'll say this, my daddy, he always owned his own home. He said it's better to pay for your home than it is to pay rent and pay somebody else. And I don't know, he always told me, he said if you make $1, try to save a dime of it anyway. And I always tried to tell me, said, if you want to buy something, you see it, then go to saving the money to buy it. Said if you got the money to buy it with, you can always get it cheaper if you got the cash money. But I never would take that lesson, you see. But there were some back then in the early days that owned their own home, just like my daddy, but very few, you know. Very few people that worked in the mills owned their own home. The homes were, and just to make a long story short, it's like I said to start with, when you lived in a company home and you worked for the company, then you did as they say do, or either you move. They fire you or you quit and had to move. So, in a way, they had you across the barrel. Just like they got me across the barrel of my light bill. Either
Okay.
pay it or turn it off.
30 seconds.
Well, I got it.
Well,
Okay, fine.
yeah, it is.
And we'll be calling you then sometime when you get back from the mountains.
Yeah. Okay.
Where do you go in the mountains?
I don't know. Tomorrow, maybe tomorrow evening late.
Where do you go?
Oh, we'll go up.
Poet Rock.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
now,
pretty, isn't it?
well, now, the friend I got coming down here, he lives at Royal Rock. But we're planning maybe going up through the Shenandoah Valley.
Oh,
Not the
that's
Shenandoah Valley, but up through, go to Brevard, 64, turn right,
Mhm.
and go out up through the Nanny Haley Gorge.
and up,
up through
the
there.
Blue the Parkway.
Yeah, go to Brevard and go up the Nanny Haley Gorge, up through the Nanny Haley Gorge,
I don't
on
know
over
that.
in the North Georgia.
I used to go. No, that I don't know that section.
That's a
used to,
beautiful place going
see,
up there.
I was born and reared in Winston-Salem, and we
Yeah.
used to go up to Linville Gorge,
Yeah, well, you ever been to,
Pilot
Uh,
Mountain, that kind
you
of
ever
thing.
been up on,
You don't
oh, what's the name of that? You go right up on top of
Oh,
it.
you
Not
mean
Mount
Mount
Mitchell.
Mitchell?
No,
Pisgah? No.
no. See 5 states from up on top of it.
Oh yes.
Little Rock Knob.
No.
No,
You mean up in the edge of Tennessee?
North Carolina, yeah, but you see North Carolina, South
Lookout.
Carolina,
Lookout Mountain.
Tennessee,
Lookout
Georgia.
Mountain. It wasn't that Lookout Mountain?
No,
You asked me.
I know it good to know my own name, but I can't think of it right
yeah.
now.
Not Rock
Yeah.
City.
No,
Just
but you
wanna
go
get
up
the
on up past
releases.
the Toxaway Falls. You ever been to Toxaway Falls?
Toxaway?
Toxaway
A long
Falls.
time ago.
What I'd like
Yeah.
to do, Judy,
Yeah.
is just to get a picture of all of us just out on the porch, so we can send it back to you.
Well, we're gonna come back, right?
Well, I'll bring it back, but let me get my camera and take a picture. of all
Okay.
of us.
Okay. Want to all hit on that?
No.
I'd like to do it outside here. I
Okay.
think. Jamie, would it be better outside or inside?
That's
fine.
about on the front porch a minute here.
Yeah, we'll sit on your front
Put your
porch.
shoes on, Frank.
No, this is all right.
Man's in his own house. If he can't be comfortable, he's in the wrong place.
That's right. If I don't soon get to the bathroom after a while, I'm gonna be baptized too.
Do you want to go to the bathroom?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I better have. I had to take LASIK. I got a pacemaker.
Okay.
Judy,
Yeah.
I think you have the keys to my keys to the car.
Here you go. I
One
got
with the
it.
Mickey Mouse thing on.
I got it. He's got it. Oh, have this man, please. Please. Yeah.
How are we going to kind of cut with Mel when I cut your reversal?
Oh, it's okay. Which one's your children?
None. Well, this is me and my daughter. But these are his great grandchildren. This is my oldest brother and sister. And back here is this is some of his great grandchildren. This is one of his daughters. That's his middle daughter and her husband. She's an insurance salesman, agent. And Frank Jr., they work for the same company.
Right, I met Frank.
This is her grandchildren here.
No, that must have been. Do you recall when your uncle had to leave the house? Did you? What
Oh,
happened?
no, I was just real small.
And you grew up hearing about it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because see, in the summertime when school was out, I used to go down in the country where they lived down below Mount Pleasant. I would go down there in the summer and spend the summer with them, me and my youngest brother. And, and I've just heard about it through them and my mother talking,
Now, son, when you make $1 million off of this, you gotta send me 100,000 of it, ain't you?
You're talking to the wrong man. My father's the one.
Why
that-
don't we get him from
Okay,
out
I'll tell him when he comes.
How'd you go on ahead? We'll just follow you.
Okay.
I believe it cooled off a little. I just hotter in there than him.
Well, the air conditioner was turned off.
See, we're supporting the poor people cause poor son.
Now, were these mill houses?
Oh,
Do
no.
what?
No.
No, never.
Now, see, I got a pacemaker up here. That helped me keep going.
You know where the lock mill used to be up there where the condominiums are? Up on the corner? That was a mill, and back in behind there, that was mill houses.
All back in there.
All back in there. They have been sold, to private people.
See, this is all built up in here.
They leave the original floors in? With all
Yeah,
the staples from
yeah.
the.
I think so.
Do what?
No, I don't. No.
No, I don't. I sure don't.
Think they want to buy?
I don't know. You got a for sale
It's-
sign
it's-
out there.
No, he's talking about Claude Newton's house.
I don't know who owns
It's okay. We'll do it in the house.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Judy,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I told him
can't
about
find
that.
that release folder.
It's in here beside of the. You left a folder in here beside of the couch.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, but that's not.
let's
Did
see.
you bring it? Did you
Well,
take it?
There's
with you?
one beside of the couch there between the table and the couch.
Okay, that may be it. Oh, it's not here
It's
either.
got your name on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
dear.
does.
Everything's in there. He's got it. All the research got her name on it.
He seemed like a fine man.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's your daddy.
Yeah.
He seemed like a fine brother.
He's been my daddy for 35 years.
Nope.
Mm. Well, now you treat him like a daddy, don't you?
Now cleaned out. So
Sometimes.
Okay.
Let's-
Sometimes
let's do
you
the
better
picture
all
again.
time.
Okay.
'Cause you
All right,
won't
then
have him all
I'll do the
time.
release after. Okay.
Well, we don't argue anymore. We just
Yeah.
discuss.
Why don't we go take a picture? Let's take a film your dad taking a
Sure.
picture of the two of them.
let's do the picture in
There's
here.
not enough light outside. I think we have
Yeah.
to go back in.
Hey, George.
Yeah?
We'll film
You
you
know
taking
what
a
I
picture
told
of
her?
the two of them.
I
Okay.
said,
Yeah.
if you make $1 million over this thing, you're gonna send me 100 of it.
Well, I was hearing what you said about Mr. Cannon,
Yeah.
and I don't want you to say that about me.
Well, you just send me 100,000 then, and I won't say
If
that.
I can make $1 million, if I can make $1 million, I can show you. Let's see, if you could sit there, sir.
Yep.
We'll have you sitting right here. Yeah, this is gonna make a nice picture. Let's see. But I'm gonna have to shoot it fairly slowly. I'll take about a 30th at 2. What about that, Jamie?
Probably.
It's let's see. That's a little hot.
Go to 2.8
Yeah.
or 60th at 2.
No. Actually. Uh-oh. I think I got it.
Yellow. Hey. Hon, let me call you back. The movie people's up here taking pictures and everything of me and Grandma, and I'm expecting to sign $1 million contract. Huh? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my granddaughter.
Okay.
Oh, I thought that was.
Okay.
Sit,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you sit back down?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my granddaughter.
Okay.
She's fixing to go to college.
A little closer.
A little closer.
Judy,
Yes.
a little closer to the. You're out of range, Judy. You better gonna have to you're gonna have to fake it. Get right behind him, otherwise.
Oh,
I'm-
we're not. That's not what we're trying to do, George.
We're trying to get your reversal.
Well, Judy,
Yeah.
can't you come in a little? Come close. That's it. Now that's exactly what I wanted. Everybody's still, including me. I'm shooting at a 50. Judy, see if you can.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And now you want okay.
No, I don't. You come on here with me. Okay.
We're this new creature. We're joined at the hip.
Okay.
I like
Now,
that. Thank you.
This
Union
is-
says I can't do this.
This is a 15th of a second, so.
Now, which one looked the oldest, me or him? I'll let him sit down.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cheese?
Good.
Good.
Thank
Now you gotta take one of me and Judy like this.
Okay. Okay.
You know what we
Like
look
this?
like? We look like, wait, what were those people who had the pitchfork?
Yes. American Gothic.
Maybe now you're in better light. I can.
I'm gonna get you for that one,
Are
Judy.
you filming?
Yes.
Okay.
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 We leave
All right.
Yes, we have.
Okay, when you guys.
So-
We've got a long day tomorrow.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
we're shooting tomorrow morning. We're going out to, you know where the racetrack is, and
Mhm.
well, we're going out there. We've got a black fellow, 85 years old, who wrote a letter of protest to Washington in
Yeah.
1934.
Oh,
We found it. Judy found his letter in the archives.
well, what's her name?
Judy. Here.
I know the one, the letter.
Oh, they found a letter. His
What
name
name?
is Graham.
Graham.
Yeah. What's his first name, Judy?
Bruce.
Bruce Graham. He's 85 years old.
I don't.
We thought he'd passed. Then we found out that he's out there.
Yeah.
And so we got to be doing some photographing with him tomorrow
See?
morning.
Let's see.
And then tomorrow night we've got a reunion of one of the villages.
What were you gonna say?
I'm trying to think about the man that run for governor. I believe it was Dr. McDonald. Run for our governor one time. And that fella from Shelby, what was his name? Helen, he had long hair like down.
Oh,
He won.
Clyde Ring Huey.
He won the election.
Yeah.
But my principal over the Hartsville School, he was for Union, and McDonald was too, you see. And they got shed of my principal over at the Hartsville High School. Yeah, 'cause he was up at, I went with my brother-in-law, Red List, it was up at Winston-Salem or Greensboro 1 to a meeting, and McDonald was speaking. And my principal was sitting up on the platform with him. Wasn't long after that, the political party got shed of him here in Cabarrus County. And he was one of the finest men I ever saw. I mean, he was concerned about children. He'd come to our home, you know, and try to get us to stay in school. But they got shed of him. Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah. You have
Okay.
a good night.
Thank you.
Pretty much out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, man. So, Judy, we know when they're coming back from the country.
Yeah, next
Okay.
Thursday.
Just give me a
You're
call.
coming back
Okay.
next Thursday because Friday you go to the beauty parlor.
We'll be back by then, yeah.
Okay, good.
You give me a call, I don't know where next week, or it might be the following week that you'll have to come.
Okay.
So
following
if she
week's
have to
okay.
go, just give me a call.
Yes,
Say,
sir.
and I'll let you know.
Okay.
We'll do that.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'll see if I can dig up some more about the union business. See, I got a sister-in-law over yonder. Her husband dead, my brother's dead now, but she might recall a little bit about this. I don't know.
Did she ever work in the mill?
And Pearl Shoe did. Yeah, Lord, yeah. I'm a working mill, and Pearl Shoe did.
Here's your papers.
Yeah, don't forget your paper. You do, I'll liable to sign that contract sure enough. Y'all be careful and have a good night tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay. Good night. Be careful.
Good night.
Okay.
Want to get a still of that house?
So, Dr. Stoney, how do you think of the success of this interview?
I think we got some very good stuff there. Yeah. Okay.
Forget about the refrigerator.
This when I've got a light and when they're going something action, some action.
He's walking out of the house.
No, okay. I didn't realize that.
We're rolling.
Okay.
You know, hop along, Cassidy, Sundance,
Okay. remember the two old fellas who were out here?
Yeah.
And we
oh,
asked?
yeah, yeah. And they
That's
said
it.
keep on going straight.
Now I'll see what this is.
This is Garrison. And this is Oakland.
Oakland.
I think Broad Street might have.
We better stop and ask. I'm afraid. Would have sworn we went right square out there. Yeah. Let's just stop at the nearest place and ask. Oh, yeah, the fellas over there could have told us. So why don't you get over and see if we can go up in here and ask? Yeah. Just curve around there and they can tell us.
Right, you're gonna go up
Yeah.
here to the second stoplight.
Uh-huh.
You make a right, and it'll be on out that way a good place.
Thank you very much.
That's Union Road when I make a right at the second stoplight?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right up there at Burger King.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Just love everybody calling you ma'am down here.
Okay, you can go now.
Can I go across?
Yeah.
Watch out for this guy coming up.
Yeah, I
yeah.
see him.
Okay, now you can go. Second stoplight and right.